We're going to be joined by our first guest in just a second. Her name is Kathi Morris. But first, check out this clip. It was from the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite back on August 28th, 1968. Watch this first.
Last month, we reported the story of 10 brothers and sisters who vowed to stay together after their parents were killed in an auto accident in California. Today, a judge told them that they could. Harry Drinkwater has the story.
For 8 weeks, the Morris youngsters have waited and hoped that somehow they could stay together as a family. They've been so busy taking care of each other that there's been little time to mourn their parents. They've been wards of the court ever since their mother and father were killed in a freeway accident. Today, they came to court for the judge's ruling. All 10 sat in the jury box, the only place there was enough room in the small courtroom. Often, orphan families are split apart, the youngsters put up for adoption. But the 10 Morrises vowed in their case it would be different. Money was the problem. Their parents left them a strong sense of family unity, but not much more. So the citizens of this small farm town in central California started a fund. And as more and more people learned about the youngsters, contributions came in from all over the country. Just over $50,000 have been contributed so far. In chambers, the judge pronounced that was enough to ensure the children's well-being for a time. He ruled that the Morris youngsters could continue to live together as a family. Their aunt, Mrs. Gloria Graves of nearby Concord, California, was appointed guardian. The judge said, in his opinion, Mr. and Mrs. Graves have shown that they can offer love. For Kathy, Judy, Linda, Carol, Teresa, the twins, Robert and Roberta, for Mike, Jeff, and the youngest, Eddie, this was the first happy day in a long, long time. Did you ever worry that you and all your brothers and sisters might somehow be split apart?
Yeah.
How do you feel after what the judge ruled today?
Great.
What do you think life is going to be like for all 10 of you up there?
It'll go on the same. I don't think it'll really change. I don't know.
Are you happy?
Yeah, I am.
It really couldn't have turned out better. At their new home in Concord, there are almost enough bedrooms so that each of the 10 youngsters will have his own. And at the new house, there's even a swimming pool. Terry Drinkwater, CBS News, Madera, California.
Wow. Well, joining us live in our Tower District studios today is Kathi Morris. And you actually saw Kathi in that clip. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. Let's get right to it. Tell us your story.
And that's why I wrote the book, because as you can see in that news clip, the nation thought that we rode off into the sunset with our aunt and a ton of money to live happily ever after, and that's not what happened. So throughout all the years after my parents were killed, when I would tell them the story, they'd say, well, you should write a book, and I'd dismiss them because everybody's got a story, right? But one day in Mass, the sermon was on our God-given gifts and how we will be held accountable for them when we die. And so in that moment, that statement shook me up, and I was reflecting on, well, what is my gift? So I had two thoughts. The first one was everybody always enjoys my long letters or thoughtful cards. And the second thought was how many people had told me to write a book and how I dismissed them because everybody's got a story. But in that moment, I put it together and thought, oh my God, he's been sending me messengers to write a book to tell this story. So I retired and I started the book in 2009. Yeah, so the book is basically the aftermath. You know, the night that my parents were killed, the 10 of us were home alone. And so when the cop came to the house, he was young. I've heard since then that he was very distraught because there was no chaplain to come tell us, so it was on him. And he just couldn't say the words. So the first chapter of my book was describing that night and how traumatizing that was for me because I had to guess for 15 minutes I'm trying to guess why he came to the house. So it starts with that night, and then I describe the first week, and then the rest of the book is the rest of the story. You know, what happened to me, to my siblings in various foster homes, to my brothers that we've lost. And then I decided that I wasn't going to let the drunk driver erase my parents' memory forever. So I've written about my mom, my dad, me with agoraphobia, the trust fund, you know. So I tried to answer any question everybody's ever asked me throughout the years. So,
You know, you guys were in the limelight, the national limelight, for at least a couple months, right?
Yes,
What
yes.
was that like?
it was awful.
Bet.
You know, at 17, I was super shy and very respectful of adults. You know, raised in a strict Catholic family, and children were to be seen and not heard. And so to have our home turn into Grand Central Station with television and newspaper reporters, and because I was the oldest, I had to give all the interviews. So it was rough, and it wore me down because then we had not only all of the news media, but the relatives, people. You know, our home was stuffed with food, and there was no time to grieve. So when you're caught up in, you know, the limelight and not able to grieve ever, it was rough.
You come from a big family, though.
Yeah, yep.
Has that helped over the years as far as all of you relying on one another?
I don't think so. We've all had to find our own way. You know, and I write about that. We lost one of my brothers to suicide because he never did overcome the loss. Lost another brother to cancer. So it's my opinion that the stress, PTSD, and everything that came with it has affected each one of us medically. And we're close in heart, but I mean, I have sisters that live in town and we rarely see each other. So I don't know that it helped us other than to know that we understand the pain, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
But didn't help each other in the sense of getting through it and lifting each other up in that way, because we really never talked about it.
Now, you started this in 2009, right?
Yes.
Little by little over the years, you were able to rewrite this, put this part of the story in, take this part of the story out. What was your favorite part?
Actually, writing about my brother Jeffrey, because my book is not a happy book. It's sad. It's about a lot of loss. So in those moments when I could write about things that made me happy, like I have a chapter on the Beatles.
Nice.
I've got a chapter, right? I've got a chapter on Dinky Creek, because that was my brother Jeff's favorite place on the planet. So to relive those kind of memories, that was fun. And gave me a break from the heaviness of, because I want you to feel my pain. So when I wrote, I had to relive it. I went back in time and felt it so I could express those feelings. And it was rough. I mean, there were times where I know the neighbors could hear me wailing because I was in the moment, right?
Yeah. How has your life been affected, if you can think of just a couple ways, post 1968?
Couple of things. First one, when I tell you I was shy, I was painfully shy. And so this process and what I've been through and how the injustice of it all has made me strong and independent. I have no problem speaking up for myself or confronting issues. It strengthened my faith, even though I was a cradle Catholic, born, raised, catechism, Sunday school, Mass, all of that. At some point after my parents were killed, I realized I really didn't know anything other than how to pray. Mm-hmm. And so there were times I really believed I was losing my mind, and so I reached out to God. And so I've grown exponentially in my faith. So I'm stronger spiritually. I'm stronger as a woman. I'm no longer shy.
Yeah, I know, I can tell. You're fine.
I don't know that I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell today that you were shy. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
For people that pick your book up, they read it. What do you hope to solve for your readers? Are there any elements?
I hope the takeaway is this, that they're going to see my journey and that I give them hope, that they're stronger than they think. I lost both my parents at 17, you know, and then went through the system. At one point, I tried to kill myself and ended up living with the nuns in the convent at San Joaquin Memorial. Got into drugs, sex, rock and roll. It's the 60s, right? Yeah. So, but I pulled myself up. And then I took positive steps to become a better person, to be the best mother I could be. So I hope people that are grieving right now, who just lost a loved one to a drunk driver yesterday, can look at me. I was 17. I'm 70. I'm still standing.
Wow, you look really good for 70.
Well, thank you.
I'm so bad with math, too. I wasn't even putting the numbers together, but...
Yeah.
So you've lived a happy life.
I've been blessed.
Okay.
No doubt. You know, been married, divorced. I've got a couple kids. I've got grandkids, great-grandkids, and I'm so blessed because there was a point in time where that might not have been the case, right? I'm also hoping that it will be a call to action, that nurturing, loving people, not people who are interested in getting money from the foster care system. I'm hoping it will have some people step forward to be foster parents, or if they don't have time or feel like they are cut out for that, get involved with CASA. This is an organization I wasn't even aware of until recently, and they are court-appointed special advocates where they can be the eyes and ears for foster children. I wished I'd had that, right? Foster kids are scared. Right?
They have every right to be scared, too.
Yeah, yeah. They don't think they can speak up. So, and then the last thing, of course, is with drunk driving. That maybe somebody out there with the problem will think twice before they get behind the wheel. It had a huge impact on 10 kids. Yep. A lifetime impact on 10 kids because a 61-year-old man decided to get drunk, pop pills, and get in the car, right? And he lived. He got 5 years. 5 years for killing 2 people.
Only 5 years.
Only 5 years.
Those were different times.
No, and that's the sad part. It's the same today. It's sad, and I was shocked when I started writing and researching to find out that nothing's changed other than MAD. So you do have some stiffer penalties, insurance. You know, it costs you money, but as far as getting a quick sentence or a sentence to fit the crime, nothing's changed. So a call to action, not only with drunk drivers who kill, but in the foster care system to help people understand what a foster orphaned child craves for most is home. Mm-hmm. Love and nurturing. We didn't get that. Yeah.
People can pick up the book on Amazon?
Yes, I have a website. It's my name, KathiMorris.com. Everything's listed, but it is on Amazon. It'll be in our River Park Barnes & Noble in about 2 weeks.
Very cool.
I'll be in Madera, back where it all started, December 18th from 2 to 4 for a book signing at St. Morello's Bookstore at St. Joachim's Church. So, yeah, if they go to Amazon, they'll see that it's already the #1 release in the, category for adoption.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
It's moving up the leaderboard quick.
And how long have you had it?
Just Tuesday. It launched on Tuesday.
This whole thing started Tuesday.
Yeah.
Well, continued Tuesday.
Yeah.
You've been working on this for a lot longer than a few days. Kathi, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Fascinating stories.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, check it out, everybody. I'm Austin Reed. You're watching Central Valley Talk. We're going to take a quick break.